This
EDMCS.
conference will now be recorded.
So I'll talk about like what are the different types of properties are there, like how to configure them, what are the different data types, what are the different levels, what are their origins, and we'll work more on that, like how to work on different types of properties. So we'll see on that. And mostly like we have worked on like various type of properties, but we have not classified like which properties is on what. Okay, so those things we'll discuss today. So let's start. So first thing is like properties and application type. So based on the application type, like we have just classified your properties into two sections. So one is the Oracle Cloud application properties, where you don't need to add or remove any properties, like whatever the properties that are predefined to the application dimension. Okay, so those are automatically created in your EDMCS. So there is no option to create or modify the properties which are already existing. In case if you need any additional properties, then you can go for that attribute dimension. Okay, so it's like suppose yeah, in your PVCS application, in let's say for any custom dimension, in your downstream application you have added some attributes, and the attributes are not come automatically, so you have to configure the attribute dimension. Apart from that, like which are the mandatory properties that are automatically created based on your dimension type. So when I'm saying dimension type, so you have seen like there are some specific properties are there for account, there are some specific properties are there for entity. So in that way the Oracle Cloud application properties are created in EDMCS. Okay. Apart from that, like if you are configuring custom application, then for the custom application, as the system is not aware like what are the different properties that a dimension should have, so that's why we need to configure the properties and the node type. So for the custom application we have to configure each properties. Okay, now so whenever you are adding any properties, like both in case of your Oracle Cloud application or the custom application, so all these are properties attached to your node type, and the node type is specific to only one dimension. Like you can't use the same node type in multiple dimension. Okay, you can use the properties in multiple dimension by tagging it to different node types, but the same node type you can tag to multiple dimension. Okay, so I'll take you to like what are the different types of property that are available. So I'll show you like how to work upon that, and we'll go one by one. So let's go to the application. So first I'm going to the application. So let me show you what are the different data types of properties available. So how to see that? See, in case unlike your node types, we have the option to create directly the custom node types. Hierarchy set also we have the option to create direct hierarchy set. Similarly, node set also we have the option to directly create. But in case of the properties, if you go, there is no button to create directly. So all the properties should be created from your app registration. So all the custom properties that should be created during the app registration only. Okay, and the other properties like for FCCS, FCCL or PNL, so those are like when you register your application, those properties will automatically configured in your system. Okay, so to create a property, so the only way is to go to the application, then go to your custom application, click on modify registration, then go to your dimension, whichever the dimension you want. So I'm going to the account, then go to node type, that is the account node type, click next. So here there is the option to create your property. So this is the only way through which you can create the custom properties. Okay, so when you click on the create, so there are some property template that is pre-provided. So if you see in this, those are like your boolean template, like true or false. Okay, date template, then float template, integer template, list template, memo template, note template, string template, timestamps template. Okay, so these are the different template available. So based on this template we can configure our properties. So these are the different data types available. So almost like every template is clear, only I'll show you how this node template works. Okay, so that is like providing reference from different viewpoint to exist at the current viewpoint. So during that time we use the node template, so I'll show that one, how to use that one. Apart from that, like the boolean template, that it stores true and false, date is stores only date, float is the decimal points, integer only numeric values, list, if like if you have a set of list, then you can create the list template. Memo template, like it is something like more than like some paragraphs, or you are saying some comments, so you can go for the memo template as well. Note template will discuss. String template is the normal, like if you are storing any characters. So string template can also be converted to the list template. So let me show that one to you. So when I'm selecting string template and giving just a name, and if I'll click next, so here it is also giving me, like in string template you can put the allowed values. So here the difference between the list template and the string template is, it is see here there is a option called include blank entry is there. So in case of the string template you can include the blank entry, but if you go to that same list template, and if I'll click on next, so there is no include blank entries there, only allowed values. So if it is mandatory to select a value for that particular property, then you can go for this list template. And if you want, no, I want for that property that the blank values should also be accepted, so then you can go for directly the string template. Okay, and just put this include blank entry box check, and select this one and put the allowed value, so it will work like your list template also. Okay, so next like here you have seen there is a property level is there. So there are two types of property level is available, that is the node property level and relationship property level. Okay, so the node property level values apply to nodes, and the relationship property levels values are unique to specific parent-child relationships within a hierarchy set. So what does that mean? So that means, like suppose let the take the example of the shared node. Okay, so the shared node have different data storage property for primary member and the shared member. So when like we are going to store different values for primary and shared node, then at that time we need the relationship property level. Okay, so that time like it can store your the specific value based on the parent child relationship. But if you are selecting node, the property level as node, then whatever the value is there from the primary node, that will be come to your shared node. So like you have to decide what is my property level, what should be my property level of the value that I am going to store for that particular property. Okay, so for example, like just I given data storage. So that property can't be a node, because when you store the data storage for the primary member store or the dynamical, so the same value will come to the shared member. But we need this for the shared member, the data storage property should be shared. So in that type of scenario we have to select relationship property level. Okay, now let me take you to configure one node type property so that I can explain that one. I'm closing this. I'm going to that demo application, inspect, sorry, modify registration. Okay, see here, I have the employee dimension is there. Okay, so in the employee dimension, let me check what are the different things are available. Okay, so in the employee dimension, you can see only employee node type is there, and the employee has the employee address, phone number, and email. But I want to point it to like the employees from which department. Okay, let me just give you something like this. I'm opening the default view of the demo. So here the demo default view is there. So I have the employee dimension, and in the employee dimension, if you look, so there are only employee related properties are there. So now I want another property, let's say department number, and that department number will refer to your department dimension. So whatever the department is available here, that only should present in the department property of this employee viewpoint. So apart from that, like if you want to put any other values which is not present in department, then it will throw the value or it will not accept that value. Okay, so that configuration we can do through the node type property. So let's go and do this. Okay, so to do this, go to your application, modify registration, then go to your employee dimension, click next, go to your employee node type, click next. So now create a node type template property, that is, let's say department number, or I'm just giving it as DPT number because I already used this property. So reference property. Okay, so for the reference property, you can see the property level is always the node type. Okay, or it is, since it is a flat type, so it is the property level is coming as node. There is no use of the that relationship, that because that relationship come into the picture when you have the parent child relationship. Okay, click next. Now the column header is department number, that is fine. If you want to set any default value, then also it is fine. For the timing, I'm just keeping it blank, and then click next. Okay, so now you can see the department number is added to the employee dimension. Click next. Next. So now this is the click next. So see here, like once you click, so here like you have to point it, like since it is a node type template, okay, and this department number property is created, now to which node set and which node type it will point, you have to assign it. So the node set will be my department, and the department node set is coming from where? From the department dimension only, right? So department node set I am pointing, and whatever the node types that is assigned to this department node set, that will appear here. So my node type will be department only. You can select multiple, but since this is my employee dimension department number properties, so I'm not going to select this one. I'm just selecting the department node set and department node types. Click next and click apply. Now if I'll go to the views and open the default view, go to the employee. So say here, like for each of the employee, now department number is added to this property. And if you want to put the values for this department number, okay, so see here, when I'm clicking on this, there is a browse button is coming now. And if I'll click on that, it will give me the selection of all the departments from the department viewpoint. And like if I'll click on that, see here the Bob and Gabriel, they are from your employee node type, so they are coming in the disabled mode. So only department I can select it from your department viewpoint. So your HDFSS, this is also employee node type, so this is in disabled mode. Apart from that, all other are enabled and you can select any of the department. So how to select? Click human resource, click OK. So that value will come. But if apart from that, like if I forcefully try to put any other thing, then it will not take the value. When I click the submit button, it will again just revert back and blank value will be there. So I can see a human resource, it is changing to the human resource. Okay, so what the values that you will give, that it will not take. And if you are loading from the flat file and just putting the values for this, then it will give you invalidation error that that particular node is not present in your department viewpoint. So let me show that one as well. So I'm downloading this one, download to file. So I'm going to save training, save it. So I'm opening this file and making it a request file. Okay, so let me put this action code, then update, and let's say I'm putting it A, B, C, D, something like this, and I'm removing all this. Save this file, create new request. Load request item. So now see here, property department number of node must reference a node from node set department, and node ABCSDS doesn't exist. So you are seeing this validation error. This node is not present in your department, so you will not able to select this value here. So this is the way, like how the reference works. So from one viewpoint you can provide the reference to the another viewpoint. Now like suppose in this case this ABCSDAS is not present. So what I'll do, like I can add both the things in the same file. Like I'll add a department as well, and I'll put a reference to that thing. So let's see whether it is working or not. So what I have to do in my request file, I have to create another tab. So let me download this thing as well. Okay, I'm good. Now I'm going to open this employee once again. Okay, so here I'm creating another tab, that is name is department. Okay, now I'm opening the department downloaded file. So I'm taking the first row which is required and putting it here. For the department, I don't need the employee address thing. So here I'm adding the action code, and I'm adding this add name is I'm taking it from the employee which I have put. description is fine, parent node type, department number is, let's say 89. Save this. Okay, so what I did here, like I have created a request file. In the request file, I am adding a department first, and in the same request file, in a different viewpoint, I am just putting the reference. So let's see whether it will work or not. So create a new request. Already request is created, so we can load the request item. So select your file. Okay, and you have to make sure both the files are selected from the drop down. Click load. Rows loaded to, row process to close. Okay, now if you go to the first, that is the department. So see here, like the department ABCDS is now added. It is still not yet submitted. And if you go to the employee, the employee node type, it is not showing. Okay, so if I'll go here and see here, like still it is not added, but it is showing ABCASDS. Okay, so let me cancel this. Then if I'll submit this one, so now see here, Bob, that is ABCASDS, is getting added, and through SAM request file also I am adding this new department. So that means, like, suppose you are using any reference viewpoint where base dimension and the reference viewpoint is present, and in a scenario appears like your in the base dimension the reference member itself is not present. So you can uh, provide the access to the business user where they can add the base member first, then enter the reference value in the reference viewpoint. So that's what I want to show. Okay, that's fine. So next we'll move to uh, the different property origin, like what are the different property origins are available. So let me take you to a hierarchy viewpoint, and like let's go to the cost center. So in the cost centers, we have the different cost centers present here. So how to see the property origin? So here you can see a eye icon is there, and if you hover your mouse on that, okay, and click on that, so it will give you the origin of the property. So here it is defined. So whatever you are entering, that is the defined type of origin. Okay, so everything like the values that I have entered all are here defined only. So here the parent is like derived. So since the parent is your system defined, so it is deriving the property based on the position of your node. Okay, now let me find out some other thing where I can show you how to show the default properties. Let's say okay, let me find out something. Cost center is done. Country is also not much thing. Department. Okay, so we'll test this phone number. Okay, so in case like if you are not providing any phone number, by default it will take 99999999. So that will do. So how many digits are there? 459 digits. Okay, so let's go and do in your uh, application registration. So I'm going to the demo again. Go to the inspect. Sorry, go to modify registration. Then I'm going to the employee. Okay, then click next. Employee demo, click next. So here the phone number is there. So here, see here, the default value is present. Okay, so that in the default value, just provide the values. Let's say 9999. This 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, click next, next, apply. Now if I'll go to that demo view, under the employee viewpoint, if I'll add a new employee, so see here, the default value of the phone number is it is coming automatically, and if I'll hover it, see here that the origin of this value is the default. So from this you can identify like whether it is an user input value or it is coming the default value. So from that you can know like what is the origin, how the value is coming to that property. So I have shown you two things, the defined and the default. Okay, next we'll go for the inherited. So there is the concept of inheritance is there. So like suppose in a let me find out the account. Okay, so in the account here, like there is a property called account type is there. Okay, right now the account type is defined, but what my scenario is like whatever the value of the parent, the account type whatever is there for the parent, that should come to the children automatically. So I can do that through the inheritance. So when I'll go to here, so still it is showing me defined value. Okay, so parent account type is revenue, the child is asset. So let me change this one first, so that we'll create a new one and automatically inherit the values, or let keep it as it is, and we'll use the inheritance and we'll see after that what is happening. Okay, so I'm closing this. I'm going to again application, modify registration. So under the account dimension, I'm enabling the inheritance for the account type property. So here, how to enable this one? Inheritance tab is there. Okay, so inheritance can be none or can be positional. So when you select positional, okay, then it will just inherit the values from your parent application. Okay, so let's do that, and I've just selected your positional, then click next, and apply the changes. Okay, so data chain object creation completed successfully. Now if I'll go to the views, in the view section, if I'll open this demo default view, okay, go to the account, and now the account type is of your inheritance type. So if I'll click on the children, so it is still showing the asset and it is showing the different value. Okay, so yeah, I'm creating new request. I'm just clearing these values. Okay, also I'm clearing this value as well. So now see here, when I'm click on clear, it is automatically revenue is coming. That is due to, see, what happens in case of inheritance, like whenever your node is present, it will go on the upward direction or to its parent node, then parent node, and whenever it will get a defined values, that value it will inherit. So when I'm just clear this value, since the account type properties in a inheritance is selected, so it will go in the up direction and it will reach to this 704000, and here you will see the property is defined, and the same value it will inherit to its children. So if I'll show here, so see from where it is inherited, that it is showing, so inherited from PL70400. So if I'll go now here also, if I'll clear this for the account, okay, so again it is coming from the asset, and if you click on this, so it will again, it will show you it is inherited from 70000, so it is taking from its parent, like again it is the defined will. Now if I'll clear here as well, so let's see what is happening, since it is a root node or the top node. So let me see how it is working. So if you clear this one, so nothing is showing, okay. So for the top, that means for the top node, at least one node you have to define the value. And in case like I'm not giving any account type for the top node, so what is happening to the other ones? Let's see. So these are also having blank values, okay. So if the top node is not having any account type, so the inherited values that is coming to all its successive children, so 7040 also blank value. So that means like at least for one top node you have to define the value. So if I'll give it to the equity, okay, so here now automatically equity will come to everywhere, okay. But notice one thing, like when you define the values, that is getting overridden on your inherited values, okay. So that those values are not impacted, but if you clear these values, then the inheritance will come into the picture. So in that way your inheritance works. So like what it provides us, like inheritance enables you to define a property value for a node which is automatically inherited by all of the node's descendants, okay. Configuring properties to inherit their values reduces the manual effort, so there is no need to put every time the manual things the same value, okay. And like suppose this plays a major role in case of setting the account type, in case of the account dimension, because we generally kept like how we kept a different hierarchy for the balance sheet, different hierarchy for PNL, and again like in the balance sheet, like again we classify the account either as asset, liability, and equity. So based on that, we create the top level member at the top node, and in the top node we select the account type, either it is a asset, liability, or equity, and based on that we want all the children of those top nodes to have the same value. So for the synchronization purpose also it plays a major role, and there is it reduces the effort by selecting one by one as well, yeah. So, but like there are some consideration where inheritance will play a role. Like it is only applicable in case of the hierarchy format. Like in case of the list type, there is no role of your inheritance. Okay, so it only plays a role in case of the parent-child viewpoint or the hierarchy viewpoint. Inherited properties values can be overridden at the lower level to handle exception. So what we have seen, like we can put a values for the inherited values, and that value will be override your inherited value. So I'll change this one to liability, so that will work. So when I'll click now, it is now defined, but if you go to 703000, it is the inherited value, inherited from 7000. So basically how it works, I already mentioned, it will go in the top direction from parent to parent. So it will first look for its parent value, and it will check like whether the values is inherited or defined. So if it is inherited value for the parent as well, then it will go to its successive parent, okay. So on that parent, again it will look whether the value is defined or inherited. So based on that it will take its value. So at least for one parent, the value should be defined, which will reflect to all other children, yeah. So in that way it works. So there are few properties in your PBCS application type or the PBCS adapter. Those properties automatically enabled your inheritance. So like one is this account type, so aggregation, base currency, data type, exchange rate type. So there are few properties which are uh, your inheritance is enabled for these properties. Okay, we'll see more on that. Properties used in custom application can be configured with inheritance when you register or modify an application. So for the custom application, like what I did, that I can configure manually which properties can inherit the values or the inheritance for which property you want to enable, you can do it manually. At this time, property inheritance is not enabled for your Fusion GL application. So in case of the Fusion GL application, like no property is enabled with the inheritance. So like in case of the GL as well, we don't configure the properties. Okay, so when we configure the value set or the segments, automatically the properties will come to that particular value set. So there is right now there is no property that is having with your inheritance in case of the GL application type or the Oracle Financial Cloud General Ledger application type. Okay, so that's about the different origin of your property values. That is, we have seen default, derived, inherited. Okay, and there is a other origin is there, that is the derived. So in our tomorrow session we'll see like how the derived properties, how we can define the expression, how we enforce the lookups. So in tomorrow session we'll discuss more on that, how the derived properties works. Okay, so for the timing, let me take you to the different types, the grouping of the properties. So how it is grouped. So if you have marked, like when I was creating the properties, so let me take you to there again. Go to modify registration. Let's say I'm going to account again. Next, account. Next. So see here, when I'm selecting the property, so it is giving me the grouping. So here you can see the grouping are core, core start, then custom, then FCCS, then FCGL, then PNL. Okay, so what are these things are? So if you see here, so there are we call them as namespace, like this core, core start, PNL, FCGL, FCCS, custom. These are all your namespace. Okay, and core namespace is for your EDMCS system defined property, and only 3 properties fall under it. Those are your change sign property, that is used for the mapping viewpoints. Then description, that is for the node description. Name is there, that is the mandatory field. In case of the core start, again, like some of like statistical properties that is provided by the system. So those are like has children, like how many children, number of direct children present, then descendants, number of descendants present. Then bottom node is there, like we'll go one by one. Like let me show you what are the different properties are there. So see here, the first one is the children. So has children means it will give you a numeric value, the count of number of direct children. Descendants is, it will give you the count of number of the descendants. Bottom node is the boolean type, and it will just give whether a node is in, whether a node has children or not. Like if there is no children, then bottom node should be set to yes, and if there is children, then the bottom nodes should be set to false. Then few other options are there, like last modified by, last modified date. So as the name suggested, like if you are doing any action or any changes on your viewpoint, so you can assign this statistical property to see who is the last person who was modified for that particular node. Okay, so when I'm saying that particular node, these are all node specifics. Like suppose you are importing the entire dimension, so the last modifier will change for all the nodes. But if you are going through the request and interactively only changing few of the nodes properties, so at that time for those nodes only the last modified by will show. For remaining it will be the same person who did the import. Okay, last modified that as the name suggests, it will hold the date, then level. It will, in case of the hierarchy viewpoint, it will give you the level, the top node being as level 1, level 2, something like that it will go. And parent node type is there, like if you want, if you have multiple node types and you want to identify the parent is present on which node type, so you can use this property as well. So these are the different system and statistical properties that are available. Okay, apart from that, like whatever the things that we manually created, so that falls under your custom namespace. Okay, and for the FCCS, we have the FCCS namespace. So here only the specific properties, those are only for FCCS, those are grouped under FCCS. Okay, then FCGL is for your financial cloud general ledger application. So here the properties are there, and PNL is the grouping for both your PBCS and ePBCS application. So all the properties, those are part of your PBCS or ePBCS, falls under your PNL namespace. So what is the significance of the namespace? So like so a property is always identified by its name and the namespace combination. Okay, so maybe like for example, if I'll go to this account type, so one is custom dot account type, and again like in the planning also we have a account type. Okay, so let me show you. So one is PLN account type and one is custom account type. So what is the difference? Like the custom account type that we have created, we have just customized it, like we can put the choice of allowed values based on our requirement. But in case of the planning account type, like whatever the allowed values are present, that the system will define. Okay, so to identify uniquely, we need this namespace. For example, custom dot account type and pln dot account type. Okay, okay, next we'll go to the property inspection. So till now, like we are working on different data type, different origination, then different property level. Okay, then we have seen the grouping of the properties, what is the namespace we have seen. Next I'll take you to the inspecting a particular property. So you can use the property inspector dialog box to inspect the property. So how to do that? Go to the properties tab. So here in the properties card, all the grouping of all the properties that present in your system is available. Okay, so to inspect any property, so let's say I'm going to that custom account type. To inspect, either you can directly click on that, or from the action menu you can select inspect. Okay, so now this property, this particular property account type is being used in two applications. So all the applications that are being using this particular property will be listed down here. Okay, and just remember one thing, like we can set the parameters, and that parameters are specific based on the applications. Okay, so see here, like the demo application, we can set the parameters differently. The master application, we can set the parameters differently. Okay, and the base parameter resembles your the base things, like what is my default type, the namespace name. So these are the base parameters, you can't change one. And if you are changing it, you can do it at the application level. So see here, the edit button is not enabled when I am selecting the base parameters, but when I'll click on the application, so don't click here, it will take you to the application, only click on this icon. So when you'll select icon, so here the edit option is now enabled, and here you can see there are some flower mark is there. So that means these parameters are overriding the base parameters. Okay, so that means these parameters are set and that are only specific to this demo application. So if here if you remember, I said the inheritance as positional in case of the demo application, but if you go to the master application, so the inheritance is set to none. So that means these parameters are specific to your application only. Okay, so here you can see there are few sections are also there, like default parameters, common parameters, data type parameters, and allowed values. So those things you can uh, change those things. Okay, now to override the base parameters for an application, so you have to click edit button. So if you click edit button, now it is allowing you to edit this properties value. So for this particular application, I can select none or positional. So earlier what I did, I went to the app registration, and from there I selected this inheritance to positional, right? But you can do it from here as well. So if you want to, so let me select for the master application also, I want the inheritance to be present. So see here, earlier this flower icon is not there, and it is same value as that of base parameter. So now if I'll go and do the modification, positional, save it. So now this flower icon is appearing here. So that means this property parameter is overridden, okay, on the base parameter. So similarly, you can set this validation, like whether case uppercase, lowercase, or mixed case. Then invalid characters, if it will not support any invalid characters, that also you can do. Okay, now the most important thing is this allowed value. So sometimes what happens, so take the example of your attribute dimensions. Okay, so we have to put multiple values one by one if you are doing from the app registration. But there is a shortcut here, like you can directly import and export your allowed values list. Okay, how to do that? So click on the edit button. So when you click edit button, here there is an option import, export, and clear. So clear will delete all the existing allowed values. Okay, export will first give you an export of the existing value. So if you take the export, so this will be stored here. Okay, now what you have to do is just open that file, that is the custom account demo. Okay, and put all additional values. So let me put something a b c d e. Okay, save the file. Now if you go to the application and import that file, select your file, click open. So see here, the ABCD is now getting added to here. And to save this, click on the save button, click yes. So this is the easiest method to put the allowed value. So in case like you have 100 or 200 set of attribute values or the allowed values. So we face this issue in case of like blog account is there, in case of the planning, sorry, FCCS property. So blog account can be multiple values, or if you are using any attribute values on your existing dimension, like let's say for example your cost center dimension is also having a attribute dimension as business unit. So whatever the business unit present in your business unit dimension, that you need to put here. So you can do through this Excel file and import it to here. Okay, now next thing is this is how to override your base parameter that we have seen. Okay, now in case of again we have to come back from like whatever we have overridden, we just return to the base values. So how to do that? So there is another option is available. So if you click edit, okay, so see here there is some round color rotation things is present. So here it is giving me the option revert values to base parameter. So when I'll click on this, it will exactly same as your base parameter. So if you go to the base parameters now, so save this. Okay, so the base parameters has like if you see that where I did okay, so data type parameters I did. So all are space. There is nothing is there. So if I'll go to the demo now, so becomes all are becoming like coming as blank well. So wherever it is matching, okay, then this flower mark is just disappearing from them. But few cases like it will not able to clear the entire thing. So here you can see the mixed case when I click this one also, one or more data type parameters over. Okay, so when I click TS and click save, some parameters are still there. It is not able to just revert back to its base value. So for that your icon is still there. Okay, so just check on this, and you can also manually add the values from here by one. Click on edit, your plus item is there. If only one or two things are need to be added, you can directly come here and you can place the values. Okay, that also you can do. If you want to remove the values, that also you can remove the values from here. So how to do that? I can click on edit, then here from the action you can click remove. If you just want to reorder also, you can make up and down also, you can select that one. Okay, so here two options are available: use allowed value list, include blank entry. So that is also available. You can select it from directly from property inspector. Okay, now the next thing is the default type. So here you are saying the default type is selected to none. Okay, now what are the different default types are available? So the default types are specified and derived. So derived is meant for your like if you are going to use expression, so on those scenario we use the derived uh, default type, else it should be none or specified. Okay, so when I'm saying non, so non default value is for the property. Okay, so when there is that is the default value and anything is not assigned, then non is used. And specified is like if the property uses an allowed value list, select default value from that list, otherwise enter the default value from the property. Okay, so like suppose from the allowed value list I have written asset, revenue, expense, liability, equity. Okay, and I'm also specifying a default value. So at that time, like when it is using the default value, then it will be specified. Okay, so the last one is the derived. So derived, like when you are selecting, so it is giving me the default value, and here there is a dx option is coming. Okay, so that dx option, if you click on that, it will give us another pop-up to design our logic, like how your whatever the logic that we want, that we can build here. Okay, so we'll see that one in tomorrow class. Like I'll show you 3-4 scenarios, like how to design the derived properties. Okay, how it will work and all those things. What are the different terminologies that are being used for the derived properties, that will see it in tomorrow class. But from here we can create the derived property as well, so we can build the expression and all those things. Okay, okay, so that's all from the properties class. So in tomorrow session we'll see the expression builder, the derived properties, and the lookup set. So for any doubt for the today's class, so we can go ahead and ask. Okay, so it seems there is no doubt. So, okay, so then we are good. So, Sandeep and Dipu, is there any doubt from your side on the
Uh,
properties?
no doubt, Loknath.
Okay, fine. Okay, so
Uh,
yeah, Dipu, go ahead.
Loknath, previously you have derived node template property, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have mentioned department number, but you have selected department name. So it is only allowing the node, not the referred dimension properties, right?
Yes, that's correct. So in case of like if you have seen, like when I'm setting the values, it will only points to the name property. Okay. So let me give you so that one again. I'm opening the demo default view, and here what I did, I have written department number, but when I'm setting the reference, okay, it will only take the reference from the name field, not from the department number. So in that way, like you have to change, like it should be department name. It should not be department number. So I was just giving examples, so I just omit this one. But
Okay,
remember
okay,
one thing, only it will point to the name, not to the properties.
okay. Only by default we can take from name only, right? Nothing
Yes,
other than.
no.
Okay, only node, no name. Okay,
So
that
if
done.
I'll again, like if I'll click new request, here also you can see when I'll select this browser list, it is giving you only name, the node name. Okay, there is no properties, nothing like you can select. So to select the properties, what you have to do is you have to again create a viewpoint with the department number, and like just revert it, like your department number will be name and name will be your department name. So in that way you have to create a viewpoint, then you have to reference it. You're getting.
Okay. I need to reverse the properties and I need to. But core is the system defined, right? Maybe by
Yes.
default it will take core dot name only.
No. What I'm saying, Dipo, is you have to create another viewpoint. Okay. In that viewpoint, in the core dot name, you will store the department number, and you have to create another property called department name. In that department name, you have to store the values like finance or marketing or analytics, like that.
Okay. By default, it will take what is the
Only
property
that.
of star. It will take that. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so like when we are storing the reference data, so at that time it is very useful, like if you are storing any relational data for your any outside relational database data, so that time it is useful. But in case of like your Oracle application, so we hardly use this thing. Like in case of PPCS or FCCS, we may not use, but if you are doing any customization for your other database, that time we use this property. Okay, so is there any doubt, or else we'll finish the session, and tomorrow we'll start the most important thing, that is the derived property. So we'll see what are the different things Oracle has provided, and like this derived things are just released in 19.10. So it is also in its early days, like you'll get very few options, like only if statements are there, only return statements are there. So some basic functions like concatenate substrings, so those things are present, and not like full fledged like your DRM. Like in DRM, like whatever the things we want, we can do through that JavaScripting. But here those things are not there. Here everything is the graphical. You have to pull one by one things, then you have to set those things, and based on that you have to derive your logic. So we'll see all those things tomorrow. So thanks for joining for today's session. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, Loknath. Bye.